Hello friends, welcome to this online session of lecture series on operations research. So in this lecture, we are going to learn about a method called simplex method to solve the operations research problems, specifically linear programming problems. So what is simplex method? It's a solution technique. Excuse me. This method is, or you can say the algorithm is employed to solve the linear programming problems. Now, the method involves forming a table based on the equations, inequalities we have from the linear programming formulations. We convert those into a standard form, introducing different types of variables, surplus and slack, or you can say artificial variables, so that we can easily transform into a table for facilitating the solution of the problem. So let's look into the method. Now here is a problem of maximization for the linear programming. There are 40 labor hours and 120 pounds of clay available for a company. Right? Those are the constraints. And the company is manufacturing bowl and mug. The labor units, hour per unit is also given, and the clay available per unit is also given. The profit realized from each unit of bowl and mug is 40 and 50 respectively. Now let's formulate it into a linear programming problem. So here, first of all, the decision variables are x1 and x2 equal to number of bowls and number of mugs. The objective function z is to maximize profit for the company. So max z is equal to 40 x1 plus 50 x2. 40 x1 for the bowl and 50 x2 for the mugs. Now in third step, we will define the constraints. Now here if you see the constraints, the labor constraint is already given. 1x1 plus 2x2 should be less than equal to 40. That is first constraint. Second is the clay available is 120 pounds. So that is 4x1 plus 3x2 is less than equal to 120. And non-negativity constraints are also there. That is x1 and x2 should be greater than equal to 0. Or you can say the bowl and mugs should be positive. Only allowed. And we will solve the problem based on the simplex algorithm. So let's look into the steps of simplex algorithm. First of all, the linear programming problem will be converted into a standard form. So how do we do that? We introduce slack variable S1 and S2 to balance the constraint inequalities. So here we have used S1 for the first constraint and S2 for the second constraint. So x1 plus 2x2 plus S1 equal to 40. 4x1 plus 3x2 plus S2 equal to 120. Obviously S1 and S2 are greater than equal to 0 and their contribution is 0 in the objective function. Okay. Now you can visualize this S1 and S2 slack variables as unused labor and clay available, right, which has no contribution in the profit making. Now let's look into the another step. Another step is Cj. How do you find out Cj? Cj is nothing but, let's before finding out Cj and row and column, we will put the coefficients here. So x1, x2, s1, s2 are the variables here and their coefficient in the objective functions are 40, 50, 0 and 0. Right? And the coefficients in the constraints are also written here. And the RHS, which is 40 and 120, is written on the left hand side. Now these basic variables s1 and s2, their coefficient in the objective function 0 and 0 is written from here. We will write this coefficients of basic variable in the objective function. Now our next step will be to find out Zj and Cj minus Zj. So careful here, how do we find out Zj here? Let's look in detail. Now here, this variable column here, we will multiply with this Cv, that is coefficient of the basic variable. So 1 into 0 and we will sum them up. So 1 into 0 plus 4 into 0. So we get 0. Obviously these two are 0, so the product and then after that the summation will be 0. So that is why the Zj is 0 here. Next step, Cj minus Zj, 40 minus 0 is 40. So we will copy down the whole row here. That is Cj minus Zj. Now in our problem is of maximization. For maximization problem, Cj minus Zj should be less than equal to 0. If it is greater than equal to 0, then we have not reached the optimal conditions or optimality, so optimal solution. So here still we have room for the improvement. So let's look into the next step. So in the next step, we will decide the pivot column. So how do we decide pivot column? The maximum positive number is decided as the pivot column, that is this one. So this is our pivot column, maximum positive Cj minus Zj. Now when we divide quantity with this pivot column, we get the pivot row. So how do we do that? Let's look into the next step. Here if you see 40 divided by 2 is 20. That is our minimum ratio here. That is Q upon pivot column. 120 divided by 3 is 40 here. Now look into this column here. What is the least value, least positive value? That is 20. So row corresponding to this least positive value is the pivot row. So this is pivot row, right? And pivot number is the intersection of pivot column and pivot row. So that is 2. Here it is 2. That the description is written here, right? So what is the next step? Now if you carefully see here, the variable x2 corresponding to this column, pivot column, is the entering variable here, and s1 is the leaving variable. So that is what I have written here. X2 is the entering variable and s1 is the leaving variable. Leaving variable means we will remove s1 from the next table here and we will introduce x2 variable here. So that is what I have done in this next step. So when we prepare the new table for the new iteration, what we will write down? We will write down new values of the row. So how do we decide new values of the row? We decide new values of the row with the help of this formula. We divide the pivot number. What was the pivot number before? If you see here, previously the pivot number was 2. So we divide each and every value with 2. So that is what we get here. So we got 20, 1 by 2, 1, 1 by 2 and 0. Now again if you see carefully, the basic variable is x2 here. That is the entering variable. Now what about the rows here? What values will go here? These values are based on the formula here which is given here. So let's look into in detail how do we calculate based on this formula. So if you see here, these are the new pivot row values, right, for this new table. Now what is the formula here? Let's start with the quantity. So for the next row here, the new quantity is the old quantity here, old row value is 120. So we have written 120 here. Minus corresponding coefficient in pivot column. Now what is pivot column here? This is the pivot column. So what is the value here? 3. So we have written down 3 here. Into new table pivot row value. Where is the new table? This is the new table. And pivot row value. So let's look into the pivot row value. So if you correspond, this is the row here. So where is this row corresponding to? This 120, that is 20 here. So we have written 20 here. So if you simplify this, we get 60 here. Clear? Next step, for the 4 value, this one, clear? Now 4, what is 4 minus pivot column? Where is the pivot column? That is 3. So we have written 3 here. Into, what is the row here? That is corresponding to x1 here. So what is x1 here? 1 by 2. So we have written 1 by 2 is equal to 5 by 2. And accordingly, we will find out all the new table row value, tableau row values. And we will write all these values right at the bottom. So that is what I have done in the next step. I have written down all the values here. And these were the pivot row values corresponding to the formulas we have employed. Now what is the next step? We will iterate again and we will repeat the cycle. We will find out Zj again, right? So how do we do that? We multiply 1 by 2 into 50, right? That is 25 plus 0 into 5 by 2, that is 0. So which is equal to, and summation of them equal to 25, right? Same way, 1 into 50 plus 0 into 0 is 50. So accordingly we get this Zj value. Now Cj minus Zj, 40 minus 25 is 15, 50 minus 50 is 0, 0 minus 25 is minus 25, and accordingly. Now what do we look for? We look for all the negative, and the condition as Cj minus Zj should be less than equal to 0. But here one of the value is positive. So this will be our deciding value. This is our pivot column. So that is what I have done in the next step. So this is our pivot column, right? We will divide this pivot column with this quantity. 20 divided by 1 by 2 is 40. 60 divided by 5 by 2 is 24. So out of these two, the least value is 24. So corresponding to this least value, this is our pivot row. Why? Because this is the least minimum ratio of Q upon pivot column. Now what is the pivot number? 5 by 2. We will repeat the cycle again now. For in the new table, we will divide this pivot number with all the values to get the new row values, and another formula for the new row values in the second row. So let's look into that. Now here these are the calculations for the first row and for the second row we will divide the pivot number. That is what I have done in the next step. So here if you see the x1 and x2 I have given based on this, all the values are based on the formulas which I have shown previously, right? Now what is our next step? We will find out. Now before that, let me show you one more thing to concentrate on, that whenever you are deciding this pivot row and pivot column, this pivot column here, the variable, this one is the entering variable. As you can remember, this x1 will go here and s2 will be the leaving variable. Remember this thing, s2 will leave and x1 is the entering variable. So here in the same way we have calculated all the values in the new table, and now we will find out the zj. So how do we find out zj? We multiply 0 into 50 plus 1 into 40, that is 40. Another value 1 into 50 plus 40 into 0 is 50, and accordingly, right? Now how do we find out cj minus zj? 40 minus 40 is 0, 50 minus 50 is 0, 0 minus 16 is minus 16, 0 minus 6 is minus 6. Now if you see carefully here, cj minus zj is less than equal to 0. So we have reached the optimality condition and we have reached the optimal solution. So how do we find out what is the optimal solution? If you see here, x2 is equal to 8, x1 is equal to 24, and zj is equal to, or you can say the objective function z is equal to 1316. These values we have calculated based on the formulas we have employed, I have shown before, right? So hence that is our final solution, because as we have seen cj minus zj, the values, all the values are less than equal to 0. It means that we have reached the optimal solution, where x1 is equal to the number of bows the company should make is 24, number of mugs should be 8, and together it will contribute to the profit of $1,360. So in this way we can employ the simplex method. Simplex method is the cornerstone method to find out the solution in case of linear programming problems. There are extended version or special cases of simplex method as well. We will discuss in the forthcoming lecture. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.